Now again, for the directions here, it says basically we're dealing with, it was really referred to as indirect measurements. I was trying to tell some of my kids before, a long time ago, all right, they figured out the size of the planet based off proportions, all right? And again, it's actually pretty fascinating, all right, how they were able to accurately figure out how big the Earth was without any computers, without any calculators, all right? So again, that's how kind of valuable the proportions are, all right? So what I'd like for you to do is I'd like everybody to look up here, all right? And I want to first show you how you can tell what angle corresponds to another angle, all right, which we talked about a little bit. But because the two triangles are similar, all right, that means the sides are proportional. Now, I bet everybody in here could set up the proper proportion, all right, even without understanding necessarily the angles. Who wants to try to tremble? Set up the proportion real quick.
So 189 yards over 45.
Good.
And then equals x over 36.
Exactly correct. Now cross multiply and divide that for me real quick. Someone tell me what that is.
151.2.
Is that right? 151.2. Everybody with a calculator. So we'd say 151.2, and of course we'd leave it like that. We'd say what? We'd say yards. Okay, so I believe most of you can set this up. All right? I believe most of you can set it up. But now I want to make sure that you understand why that's a good proportion. All right? The first thing I want everybody to do is on your paper is see how this, we call this one tick mark? Right? That corresponds to one tick mark down here, which means those two angles are equal. All right? Then this up here, all right, has how many tick marks? 2 tick marks, and that just means it's congruent to this down here. All right, does everybody agree with that? Now look up, please. Look up so I can show you something. I just want to make sure, even though I know intuitively you know. All right, the 189, this length has to correspond to this length down here. The reason we say that's true is because that side is in between kind of like angle 1 and angle 2. Does everybody agree with that? Or 1 tick mark and 2 tick marks. Does everybody agree with that? So this down here, 45, is also in between 1 tick mark and 2 tick marks. Does everybody agree with that? Mm-hmm. All right, that's how we know those are corresponding. So he set up the relationship perfectly. He said the large over the small is going to be equal to the what? Large over the small. The problem is, how did I know that x went to 36 instead of x maybe going to this side right here? This is how you have to figure this out. So let me show you just to make sure, even though some of you probably already know. All right, these two angles down here, I want to tell you, this angle right here, I'm going to give 3 tick marks. We say it's vertical to this angle here, which I'm trying to give 3 tick marks to. All right, so what I'll do, because it's kind of hard, I'll just fill it in. All right, those two angles I know are congruent. And you learned something last year. All right, can I remember what that was? What those two angles directly across from each other are called? What was it? A special word. What was it?
Parallel?
Nope.
I think it was vertical.
Yes, I'm proud of you. Very good. That was very nice. All right, they were called vertical angles. So anytime you make an X, this angle and this angle are equal, and this angle and this angle are equal. Those are called vertical angles. All right. Now, again, please look up, because if you learn to set things up properly, it's very simple. All right, it's very simple. So what I want to do now is I want to explain to you how I know that x went to 36. Because some kids, and I'm going to put this on the test to see if you're paying attention, is this side right here, a lot of people would accidentally say that corresponds. All right, but that's not true, because this side right here, and here's what I'm trying to highlight, so make sure you're following me. This side right here is between the pink angle and 2 tick marks. Does everybody see that? Come on now, you got to look up and you just look. I know you think you know, some of you. I'm telling you, my geometry class, we're doing this same thing, all right, next week. You're a little bit ahead of my geometry class. All right, that's how important it is. There's a whole study on similar triangles. I'm trying to show you it's not difficult. All right, does everybody understand what I'm saying? This yellow line is between the pink angle and the 2 tick marks. Everybody see that? So now you have to find the pink angle and the 2 tick mark on the smaller triangle, which is this guy down here. Does everybody agree with that? That's why those two correspond. That's why the X does not correspond, all right? The X does not correspond to that side. Is everybody with me? All right? So again, setting them up is super important. I hope you're listening. I hope you're not trying to get it done, because some of you, that's where your mistakes are. That's why some of you are not making A's. Because you think you know, so you're just doing the worksheet, you're not listening to what I'm saying, and I promise you, as you go down the page, they're getting what? They're getting harder. All right, and you're missing the information. I promise you I'm making you a good student. A good student is not working while I'm trying to explain things. All right? Yes, sir.
So, don't you also know that the bottoms equal?
Yes, yes. You could kind of say that, but I'm still telling you, I can draw a triangle where it's twisted around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where they're even connected, I can twist it around. All right? So the important part is to look for the angles that you know are true. All right? So over here now, please watch number 2, because they tried to mess you up because they drew like a rectangle. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
All right? It's kind of distracting. All right, so please watch again. Try to be patient with me. Look up here. Make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. All right, because I promise you it's really simple. All right. So now up here, they're telling me something about this. So somebody, what does that symbol mean right there? Say it. Triangle. That's all it means. Triangle what?
CDE.
Triangle CDE. All right, now over here, I'm going to highlight something. It says triangle what? GDF. All right. Now, the problem is most kids do not know what this symbol means. And of course, that symbol means what?
Similar.
That just means they're similar. And if they're similar, that means that the angles are equal and the sides are proportional. That's what that symbol means. All right. Now, what letter, or I should say, what angle is congruent to angle C? What angle is congruent to angle C? Tell me, Lily. G, exactly. Right? So now that you know that, I need everybody to go to their figure and say C is congruent to G, and just mark it. You can mark it with 1 tick mark. I should go ahead and do that. All right? So we say it's 1 tick mark here, 1 tick mark here. Now, angle D is congruent to what angle? Tell me, Oscar. Angle D is congruent to what? Tell me. D. Now, how do I know that? Because you're looking right here. The second letter has to be equal to the second letter, right? So they're both D, though. So now, why are they both D? Because I'm showing you right here and here. Those are the same. And we knew those were the same anyway because those are the vertical angles. All right? And then finally, you're supposed to say, okay, well, then if that's true, then angle E is congruent to angle what? F. So now mark it. Well, and they do have it marked as a right angle. Does everybody remember that's the symbol for right angle from last year? Okay. So now, one last thing I want to ask you, and then we'll speed things up, just to make sure. All right? Side CD. Oscar, CD corresponds to what side? Look on the board. CD corresponds to what? Yes, that's now you understand the relationship. CD corresponds to GD. Now I'm going to show you one more thing just to make sure. DE corresponds to what? Come on, Lucas, stay with me, man. It's not that boring. It's what? Yes, thank you, William. That's exactly correct. And then there's one more side. And one more side, I'm going to draw it this way. CE. CE corresponds to what?
FG.
Yes, exactly correct. All right, so we say the similarity statement. Come on, William. The similarity statement is where you can gather all the information. Because occasionally your eyes can be deceived by the picture. You might think something corresponds to something else when it really does not. All right? So with that being said, now that I kind of did that, all right, it says here, I'm trying to find the distance CE. So now go to CE and put an X. Set the proportion up for me. Try.
27 over 40. Yeah, 45.
Yes, hold on. Very good. 27 over 45.
And 36.
Where would 36 go? On the top or the bottom?
Bottom.
There you go, kiddo. And 36 corresponds to. There you go. Easy. Very good. Very, very good. Now everybody just cross, multiply, and divide. And that's the easy part. Right? So tell me it's what?
21.6.
Is that right? Anybody else get 21.6 feet? 21.6 feet. Everybody okay with that? What? Listen, because everybody's been in class the last couple days, are there other ways that you can write it?
Yes.
Yes, always. There's always lots of ways to write it. All right? The only thing I care about is that you came up with what answer? Which is what? 21.6 feet. You understand what I'm saying? There are lots of ways to set it up. Lots of ways to set it up. You have to find some way you like and then do it. All right, let's move on. Let's see if I've done a good job. All right, here we go. Now, all right, everybody take a look at that. You want to give it a shot, Mr. Green? All right, what am I trying to find first of all?
I'm trying to find missing one,
Which is what?
which is
Now, how do I find this? Look, what I'm telling you. It's in the question. Dora's house to Michaela's house. So here's Dora's house here. Here's Michaela's house way over here. Do you agree with that?
so I'm trying to find other
That's exactly right. See if you agree with me right there, right?
missing one.
Yep, that's what we're trying to find. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So set up the proportion now, please.
So there's going to be x over 4.5
You mean
or
4.8?
4.8.
Okay, come on now.
And equals 2.8 over 3.5.
Very, very, very good. 2.8 over 3.2. Like I said, you can have a different order if you need to. Come on. Sit up. Cross, multiply, divide. Let them tell me.
So you get 5.4 miles.
Anybody else get 5.4?
No.
Double check it real quick.
I got
48. 48.
48.
Shh. Oh my. Just stop interrupting.
Oh, I know why.
4.2, yes. Does everybody agree? X equals 4.2. Now, definitely 4.2 is not the answer, of course.
400 miles.
All right, 4.2 miles is correct, but that still doesn't answer the question. Tell them, Rivers.
So you need to add 2.8 to it because it's going to Michaela's house. That's only half.
That's exactly right. Everybody, please, and that's what's on the test. All right, you're going to solve the proportion and then get it wrong because you didn't answer the question. Is everybody with me on this? All right. So he is 100% correct. This distance is 4.2 miles. But they're asking what's the difference from Doris to Michaela. So you have to add the 4.2 and the 2.8. All right. You're simply adding those two values. All right. And so we said the answer was what? 7 miles. 7 miles. All right. All right, let's take a look at number 4. All right, here we go. So now it's telling me that triangle ABC is similar to triangle DBE. All right, CC, why don't you help me out here?
Oh, no.
24.
Oh, wait.
24 over 16, I like that. Now, X, of course, is the soccer field to the archery range. That's exactly correct, kiddo. Thank you. All right. Now, look, you're supposed to try to set it up now, okay, to see if you understand what's going on. All right, I do think it's easy once you understand that. Tell me. How much? Anybody else get 60 yards? Everybody okay? What? You said wait. Come on, Weber, tell me. You sure? What's the matter, William? All right, take a look at number 5, William. Set the proportion up for me.
So you can do 12 over 18
Good.
is equal to X over 495.
Yes, you're awesome, buddy. Now, we had a conversation last class. I just think this is the bridge right here, right? I don't think the bridge includes the 12, but I could be wrong.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? It doesn't. But again, I would make it obvious for you on the test. Does everybody agree with me on that?
Okay.
So everybody knows if the intent was the whole thing, we would just add 12, right? If it just, because it seems to me like it's written just the way it is. All right. So to me, it seems like that's the answer. When you cross, multiply, and divide, what did you get, William?
You get 33.
Anybody else get 33? 33 what, though? 33 feet. All right, Ryan, you're up now. All right, let's see what you can do, kiddo. So set up the proportion for me. Now, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
12
Good. Perfect. All right, now remember the distance between T and T. So we're looking for Tarryhill and Tom's Fall. Or Tom's Falls, whatever. Is that right? So does X equal 21 miles?
Yeah.
But what's the final answer, though? Yep, you had 84 and 21. 105 miles. That's the correct answer. Very good work. Very good work. What's the matter?
In this one, we have the 12 and 38.
Yes, they correspond. Yes. And you could say here, you could recognize that one triangle is just what? How many times greater? Everybody see it? It's 4 times greater. Right. Go ahead. Tell me, Mr. Green.
But in the last one, we did
Well, remember, there's multiple ways to set up the proportion. The only thing I care about is how did you set it up? That's the only thing I care about. Come on, tell me.
last night. I said I had drawing shape. It just corrected.
I'm saying number 6. How did you set it up? It can be different.
Shapes, you know, strong, set it up.
I don't know what to tell you now.
I didn't set it up.
Yeah, okay, so that's good. I'm glad you can admit that. Seriously. All right, so I'm asking you right now, what don't you see? Right, I'll be right.
The child.
Are you asking me, like, for example, why does 12 go to 48? But listen to me. Here's what I want to tell you. I'm going to tell you. The reason this is hard is because the shapes can be twisted and turned. Do you agree with me? Right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you how this right here, this 12 miles, make a different color. This 12 miles has to correspond to that 48. Do you see that? And then we would say that this part right here corresponds to this part right here. Okay? Yes.
Are you at 80?
Well, because they want the total distance from Tom's Falls to Tarryhill. So let me show you what that is. Right? They want from here to here. You see it now? Right? Because we just said X was that little piece right there. You agree with that now? Weber, do you want me to continue or do you want me to try to say something else? All right. Let's see if we can get the next one. All right. Now, the next one's a little bit annoying because I almost feel like we didn't have enough room. Right? So if you need to take out a sheet of paper, I'm okay with that. All right? What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to highlight it and I'm going to move it down the page because I think it's kind of important. All right? Okay? What? No. Listen to me. For this, all right? Now, you have a 6-foot observer cast a 4-foot shadow. All right? So what you're supposed to do now for this is to tell me that your person is 6 feet tall and they cast a 4-foot shadow. Now, where is the shadow? The shadow is on the ground. Right? So the person here is 6 feet tall and his shadow is what? 4 feet tall. Now you have a chimney that has what? A 238-foot shadow, right? Which means it's a lot bigger. Does everybody agree? So then we would draw out the 238 feet and then the tower would be a lot bigger. All right, that's what I'm telling you. That's how I want you to draw it. So you can see it. So now the proportion is going to be what?
6 over 4
6 over 4.
equals X over 200.
Exactly correct. Yep, there's lots of ways because he's going to tell you the answer and then he's going to tell you if your answer is correct.
The answer is 357.
X is equal to 357 feet. Do you agree with that? Somebody else got something different. He might be wrong. I'm not doing the math. What did you get? Everybody should have a number on their calculator. That's what I don't understand about some of you. I'm standing up here doing the problems and you're staring at me like, wow, man, he's doing another great job today. All right. Wow, very good day, man. He's just got them all right again. All right. What did you get? 350. All right, 357. Well, you good on that? All right, everybody, put the numbers in your calculator. All right, don't let me set it up and then do the cross multiplying also. All right, so let's do number. Let's take a look at number 8 now. All right, let me grab number 8 and bring it down. Yeah, I don't, I just want you to get them right. That's all. All right, Lily, I want you to read this one and tell me. Go. Right. So again, it's just building to shadow, building to shadow. Do you agree with me? So can you set up the proportion for me? Let me hear you. 90 over x, right? So the 90 represents, I like to make sure I'm seeing this, the 90 represents the shadow. And this represents, the x represents the building, okay? So now what? Say it again, I didn't hear you. Why is it that way? Now remember, look what I'm trying to show you. Yeah, the shadow's on the top. That's why it's important to label the piece that you're dealing with. If it's on the numerator, or if it's in the denominator. So the shadow goes where? Yes, the shadow goes next to shadow. So what number is on the top? Yes, we would say 0.75. And then in the denominator, it would be what? There you go, 1.5. And now, of course, we cross multiply, divide. Somebody said that the apartment building is 180 meters. So they're okay with that? William, what?
I got 45.
What am I supposed to do to that? Look at how you set it up. Look at how I set it up and see if you got something different.
Oh, I did opposite.
Because why? Listen to me. I'm trying to show you something. That's why I think this is important part of the problem is saying what's in the numerator. 90 represents the what? The shadow. So the numerator should also contain what? The shadow. That's why the 0.75 represents the shadow. That's what we're doing.
Also, was it first because 90 first?
No, doesn't have to, right? Austin, you can set it up lots of different ways. It doesn't matter. As long as you set up the proper fractions. As long as you set up the proper fractions. I just think it's not that hard if you pay attention. Go. No. I just want you to make 100 on your test. And when you take a test, I really feel like you should draw the picture. But some of you guys, are stubborn. You like, I want you to make 100. So I always recommend draw the picture. It makes it much easier. All right, but you don't have to. Like, we didn't have to draw a picture on that one, really. All right, we could have. All right. So listen, I'm good for that. So listen, I want you to finish up this page and then flip to the back. All right, and try those problems also. Everybody with me? All right, get busy.
As a quick on number 9, how would we log 4 foot,
Yeah.
5.5 inches of
Yes, exactly. You could say 4 feet 5.5 inches, right? So that's actually a pretty good question. So what's the relationship between this 6 foot and this 3 feet?
double.
It's double, right? Now, again, I like what he said. It's about the 4.5 or the 5.5 inches, right? You could just double it. But for me, you could also just make it, 5.5 inches. It would have to be 5.5 divided by 12, right, to make the whole decimal. But again, you see what I'm saying? This one's kind of easy because of this relationship. The 6 and the 3 is twice as big. So if I double this, what would it be? Come on, guys. If I double that, what would that be? Yeah, good job. 8 feet 11 inches. Some people in my other class didn't double the 4.5. Or I'm sorry, the 5.5. That was good. Did you understand that? Everybody understand that? It's kind of tricky, so that's what I'm saying. I don't mind you asking me if you're not sure about something. All right, so we'll just go ahead and say the answer to number 9 was 8 feet 11 inches. All right. So now I understand now 10 is the same kind of deal. Look at 10.
You just do 4 point, or 9.3.
4/12 is 1/3, not 0.3. You see what I'm saying? So here, let's set up 10 together, please. So a man casts a 15-foot or 14-foot shadow. So we don't know what the height of the man is, but we know his shadow is 14 feet. And notice I'm doing, guys, I'm putting shadow at the bottom. All right, a 4-foot tall. So where does the 4-foot tall go? On top. That's exactly right. Okay, so now I need some help. 9 feet 4 inches. All right, 9 feet 4 inches. 4 inches out of how many is a foot? 4 to 12. So what goes here is 9 4/12, which is the same as 9 1/3. Just do 9 1/3 because we have a calculator that does fractions. You need to understand that, right? All right, guys. Really, that was a very good day today for the most part. Very good. All right. Finish it up. I promise you, this is really hard, but hopefully you're getting the hang of it. All right. That's 6 minutes to get your work done. How about that? Then you won't have all this homework tonight.